In case you don't want to. That's right. Once we're live, I can't take it back.
Nope.
What's up, Karen? What's up, Andrew? How's it going, buddy? And then at some point in time, our buddy Caleb, I've made him our Cub reporter. So we'll kind of take a little bit of a pause, and he's going to come in and give us a little Disney news. Try to get him on like once a month to do it. It's a lot of fun. Well, I'm glad we figured that out. I'd rather have the trouble before we start.
Yeah.
It's funny. I actually had what's up, Chris? How's it going, buddy? I had an interview with Google today about podcasting. And it was kind of like how you workflow, like why they wanted my information. I'm not sure, but it was kind of interesting. Oh. And I kind of felt smart. Like when I was talking to her, answering questions, I felt like maybe I do know what I'm doing. But I backed into it. Like if you don't know, Hawk, I had a YouTube channel and went to Momentum, which I'll give a pitch for if you've not been, and especially with you really getting into some content creation, it's a great place to be. 4 days in October. Do you know who Lou is? I mean,
yeah.
Okay. And the folks he brings in are just awesome. Like I've learned. Hey, Tony. Tony's in Alaska, so she always wins whenever we have cold questions. I guess the Iditarod's over, Tony, so you can come back to us. She's been out racing huskies.
Oh, that's right. It has been Iditarod.
And so when I went, they had they suggested that I do live video to kind of boost my algorithm. And so I started a podcast to do live video rather than having a podcast and transferring into live video, which is kind of where everybody seems they're going to.
I've always preferred doing things live. I just personally think it's more raw and realistic, and you can kind of laugh at yourself and learn what you're doing as you go with your fans. But I think that realism can't be replicated when you take away the live. I just think that's an awesome.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not looking to get rich doing this, right? Like, this isn't, as we know, podcasting is not the boom, the windfall of money people think it is. But I just want to build a community in a place, where I can. What's up, Brian? How's it going, buddy? To sit and talk more Disney, right? And that's the magic of the internet. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of folks see a lot of hate, but my Facebook feed's awesome. Like, I love my Facebook feed. I always see, I keep one crazy left winger and one crazy right winger so I can see what's going on in the world. And then I just balance everything else out with Disney pretty much. Or friends, friends and family, that kind of thing. But we've talked about it too with AI coming up. You know what AI can't do? Live video, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And it sure can't.
The topic freedom you get in here too, like you can shift in the moment. The fact that a comment comes in and can shift the entire conversation, the adaptability is just incredible when you're live, and you can interact with the people that are watching. It's easier to build that community because it's instant feedback and reaction. I think all that's super important as you're doing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like tonight, we're going to start this podcast and we really don't have a topic, and we'll see where it goes. And somebody in the chat will pull one thread and we'll go after that thread. And then it'll be, I do try to keep them to about an hour from when we start, to be respectful of everyone's time. But I feel like that's a pretty good amount of listening time if you're joining. I mean, I could sit here all night. I could talk for days about this stuff.
Are you going to start the new season of Daredevil this week?
I am.
So I haven't You know what? We should talk about this live. Let's talk about let's do the podcast because that we'll start with Daredevil right off the bat. All right. Hey guys, welcome to the But Mostly Disney podcast. I'm your host Tater, along with my friend on the other end in Charleston, South Carolina, Andrew.
Hello, everybody.
And tonight we have the coolest guest with the coolest name, our new friend Hawk, who I met on Married a Disney Addict, which is a great podcast, and you should probably go listen to that instead of ours. What's up, man? Thank you so much for coming.
No problem, man. I'm super excited to be here. We actually had the opportunity to go over and spend a little time at Disney this past week, and we'll get over a couple more days this week too. So there was some cool stuff going on over there.
Yeah, rub it in, man. Rub it in. Actually, I should have reached out. We were there. Yeah, I was there Monday and Tuesday.
We had the opportunity. We got some really great video of the not so baby tiger anymore back. So over at Animal Kingdom. And we were with a cast member who said he actually jumped down into the water, but up from the upper wall in the main area. And I got it on video. And the cast member was like, "I've never seen him do that." And we posted it. Got about 50,000 views within an hour and popped right off. It was pretty cool. But it was neat to see him growing up and exploring and challenging himself and playing and doing the different things that even the cast members were saying it's something different every day because he's just a little over a year old. So it's pretty neat to see his growing every week to be able to pop over and take a walk through that trail at Animal Kingdom.
That's so cool. I know Brian says you just got back and he called me Tomater, which I'll take. But I don't know. I think I've said this before, but do you remember a show in the 80s, Not Necessarily the News?
Yeah, I remember that.
And remember that guy had sniglets and he did those words for things? I feel like I need a sniglet for you just got back from Disney, but you're already jealous of somebody else who's been there since you.
That's a good one.
Like I was literally just there and I'm already like, oh, I can't believe you got to go. Well, Hawk, before we get... because I do want to talk about Daredevil, but why don't you kind of give us your Disney origin story and tell us what you do and let everybody know who you are and how you got here?
Sure. My first trip to Disney was back in 1974. My great-grandmother lived down here. My mom and my grandmother took me down, and we spent a couple days at Disney. I didn't go again until 1986 and stayed at the Polynesian. Went with my parents, and that was back when you could rent those little power boats to chase the ferries around and jump the wakes and try to enjoy yourself. And I spent probably 80% of my vacation in one of those boats. I was just constantly in the boats and not going to the park. And then when I had a daughter and took her to Disney for the first time in 2012, really just fell in love with everything through her eyes. I had the opportunity to see it in a very different perspective than I had as a kid. I wasn't a real huge theme park person, and just seeing her melt and get so excited to interact with characters. And she's not a princess chaser. As a matter of fact, every time she got called a princess when she was 5, she used to get upset and say, "I don't like princesses, I like fairies." And, so she was a big Tinkerbell fan. But, over the years, a trip a year turned into 2 or 3 and then got up to 5 or 6. And we were spending on average 30 to 45 days a year at Disney. And I eventually moved down from Boston, and now we get 100, 150 days a year in theme parks. So it's pretty nice. It's nice to go over without the pressure of having to do anything. And Disney is just a place where we find our peace. And my wife and I love to go over and just get our steps in and take a walk and people watch and see the young kids enjoying the magic and maybe do a few rides. And we're pretty adventurous for our age. Well, it's not really a ride we won't do, but we enjoy it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like you're living in my head right there. I mean, and so I found, it's funny. I mean, we went, I think 75 and 76, somewhere in there was our first trip. And it wasn't like a total childhood thing. We went a couple times and that was it. I loved Walt on TV. I loved all the old movies. And then I lived in Florida. I lived in Key West for a year. And then I opened a restaurant in Jacksonville, in Miami, and Daytona. We were right there. I went to Universal one time. But we kind of did like a drinking thing there more than, really participating in what Universal had to offer in the 90s. And I really didn't go over to Disney. And then our family kind of found it together. And it's something that my wife and I grew into. And that is our plan, is to retire down there and do exactly that. Go over and get our steps in, walk around after dinner. Because having an annual pass and not having to, that frantic, I've got to get what I spent out of this week. And I totally understand that too. I'm not against that. But it's such a different feeling. Like it's hard to explain.
It was so weird when I moved down here, as you say that, because my wife had been in Florida since the 70s. She moved here when she was 7 years old. And, so she had been here a long time. And I asked her, I said, what's your favorite restaurant? And she's like, we don't eat out at Disney. We just drive over and then we go home because it's too expensive. And I was like, that just totally threw me off, because as someone that travels down, I was always so excited to hit the restaurants and do the food.
Oh, and almost more important than the rides, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And it was such a weird concept for me, because I'm trying to find out her favorite restaurants and she really didn't have any. She's like, I will just grab a snack or quick service or something if I need it. And so now we do spend a little more time enjoying the dining experiences. So far this year, we've hit Topolino's a couple times, Steakhouse 71. We went to Olivia's this week for dinner to get the chicken.
That, yeah.
That's so good.
It really is.
Yeah.
That place might be a super underrated, like, secret restaurant. I mean,
100%.
It is so good. Yeah. We even ended up, and we took our kids. So this is I'll say this summer will be our 20th year in a row going as a family, right? And that doesn't include us going down, like just my oldest went this time, like drove down. So anyway, so we've had little trips as well, but 20 consistent years of going. And even after like year 3, the kids kind of realized they were coming back next year. And we've always come back from Disney relaxed, right? Like we never felt frantic at the parks. The kids would be like, Dad, I want to ride Peter Pan. Well, it's an hour and 20 minutes. Well, maybe next year, and they were pretty, which makes you a little tear in your eye. Like, you're my boy Blue, kind of thing. And so we've always had a very relaxing Disney, and I see it. I see other people, but I mean, like Tony, who lives in Alaska, says she's jealous for other people while she's at Disney, literally. And I totally get that too. But I mean, the airline tickets, I mean, that's why I haven't been to Tokyo, because there's 5 of us and I want to see Tokyo Disney Sea more than anything. But to drag 5 people literally halfway around the world it's not a small effort financially or trying to figure it again. August. Karen, my oldest kid's name is August, who's looking for a job in animation. If anyone out there is listening, graduates, gosh, in like 2 months. That's crazy.
Wow.
So they've got applications out at a bunch of studios, but it's not the best hiring time in the animation world right now. So
do you guys have favorite Disney restaurants? Like, do you have a favorite spot?
Oh yeah.
What's yours, Andrew?
Ohana.
Okay. Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner.
Gotcha.
8 o'clock-ish.
And it's gotten better. Like we went, like
Ohana was. It went down for a little bit.
It did.
It did have a little bit of a rough run.
But the last time we were there last June, and I think it was back up to standards. It was really, really good. I still miss the grilled shrimp. Like they went to peel and eat.
Yeah, it's all peel and eat shrimp now, but.
And I think
what's yours, Tater?
I think that like our must do cannot miss is Morimoto Asia, which I know Disney Springs, but those ribs, I dream of ribs at night. And I mean, Crystal Palace breakfast is something we almost always do. Like that's a big one. But if I had to pick one restaurant, I think even over the Boathouse, um, I think it'd be Morimoto. Now on property, I'd have to think a little more of where we always go. Sci-fi is a it's I know it gets a lot of heat. We love it. I like the
I
burgers.
don't
I like
like
the
it.
atmosphere. I don't either. How about you?
For burgers, we like Geyser Point
Oh yeah,
over
the
Yes.
at
best.
Wilderness Lodge. I don't think there's a burger on property that can get touched
No.
by that.
We've had that
And
debate.
for dinner, I really do like Topolino's. I was pleasantly surprised with the dinner, but that's our breakfast go to,
Mm-hmm.
hands down. That is our breakfast go to when it's a treat. But much like like once you bring a couple of other people with you, that bill gets high quick. So
Yes, it
and
does.
for eggs, and I mean, the roasted potatoes in the morning are the best I've ever had anywhere. I don't know what they do to those potatoes, but they're as gold as the gold value that they have for sure, because they are delicious.
See,
But
Tony said Morimoto Asia ruined ribs for her dad. That all others pale. Well,
that's awesome.
I mean, if you come here a lot, you've heard this story. But the first time we went there, and I didn't know who Morimoto was. Like I didn't watch Iron Chef, so I didn't know he was famous. And we went in there and bought this. I think I'll if not, I'll post a picture of this giant this sushi tower with lobster, and we were shoving it aside to get to my kids' ribs. My son had ordered ribs because he didn't like sushi, and we're literally stealing his ribs. He was we'd spent like $200 on this sushi tower that I would have given away to get to the ribs. I love it. But you're right. That burger at that Bison Burger, there's nothing better on property. And Walulu Cafe Bar and Grill has become. We really like that place
Which one?
at the new Polynesian Tower, the Walulu.
Yeah, we were there for dinner a couple times. The wings are amazing. It's super small portions. I'd rather pay a little more money and get a little more food, to be honest. But because I think it's like 6 wings, 5 wings. It's a very small portion. It's not very big, but phenomenal wings. The sticky ribs that they have there. I've never had Morimoto, but I can say those sticky ribs are pretty good.
Oh, you do yourself a favor and go to Morimoto. They're
Yeah.
incredible.
It's on the list. I'll put it just made the list.
It's so good. I mean, it's just and we've had great service there. It's a great atmosphere. The spam wasabi or at Walulu is really good as well. Like that's fantastic. And the I like a tuna poke bowl. That was actually the best thing I had at Flower and Garden was the tuna poke bowl on what we ate around the world. Now see this. So I put this out, and Brian says best burger on property is at Walulu. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but when I put out is the Bison Burger the best, because I do think it is. That one got a lot of attention. Steakhouse 71 got a lot of attention.
We were a little disappointed with Steakhouse 71, to be honest, when we went in. I think because of the way people had talked about it, you almost elevate your expectations to an unrealistic sense. When you hear, "Oh, it's the best. Oh, it's the best steak you'll ever have. Oh, it's this," and you go in, and I was very underwhelmed, to be totally honest. And we had a good time. Dinner was good, but I didn't feel as though for the value for the money that some of the restaurants at Disney present you with, I didn't feel Steakhouse 71 lived up to what our credit card bill was.
So we ate there Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day, a week ago, and my burger was okay. I would order something different if I went again. However, my oldest is vegan, and Disney's so great if you're vegan. It's so easy. Like vegan is expensive and it's difficult because for her, even a little butter will upset stomach. So they have a vegan vegan Wellington, and it was beautiful.
That's what my daughter had.
And it looked, I mean, it looked out of this world, and she said that was probably her favorite thing. So
that's awesome.
I'm sure we'll end up back there again.
Yeah, we ate at Steakhouse 71 right after it opened. And it was like, we'll give it another try. Then we tried it again, and I was like, I can think of so many better places on property to eat. And it's just the atmosphere wasn't there either. I didn't think it was just like a
It,
gray
it
wall,
it's
just
very
very
different.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. We were in the back corner too, like way in the back. If you enter, we were like in the opposite corner, all the way back in the back, and it just did. It had a very stagnant feel.
Yep.
It took 45 minutes for our table to get a beer and a glass of wine.
Ooh.
Um,
Yeah.
we're a little. We actually asked the wait staff if they had forgotten it in the state they were from. Just and,
Could we get a
cracking
black tablecloth? Or I think our waiter died.
but they were very sweet. Like the service was good, but it wasn't as. It just seemed like an off night in the whole restaurant too. And I'll be honest, we go to Disney enough that you see that on occasion.
Right.
They've
Yeah.
either had a
Yeah.
staff change or they're running late all night and everybody's stressed. It can be 100 different reasons. So we never write a place off for one visit, but we were just not overwhelmed. We were really hoping for a higher expectation.
Yeah, and I tell you what I think would be cool. It's not. I try to stay obviously very positive, except about the lobby of the Polynesian. They can burn for that one. I know it bothers me. It's just it's the one thing like, oh, we're getting rid of the riverboat. Okay, well maybe cars will be cool. I'm willing to see how it goes and wait and trust that Disney has my best interest at heart. But losing that lobby and it's just such a travesty. But I think it's like when you walk in, the bar and the seating area there is so well imagineered, right? Like that mid-century modern, it feels like a scene out of The Incredibles without having IP or anything. So cool. And then the seating area in the restaurant's just kind of a restaurant. Like it's not
Very
as,
sterile.
yeah, it's a little stale. Like they could have
Yeah.
really brought that theme, even if it meant losing 4 or 5 tables. Because look, atmosphere matters, right? I mean, take Ohana.
Sure.
So we've been there and had great meals there. And then I've been twice in a row where it was bad. We kept going because I want to hear the ukulele and watch my kids, at the Hookie Low. And the atmosphere was enough to, even without fireworks, to keep us going, right?
Yep.
And now I do think it's gotten a lot better. We ate at the little lounge too, and that was fantastic. We had a good meal there. So, but that could have been a really neat restaurant, or they could have put games in there because originally I think it was the arcade.
That was arcade. Yep.
Yeah, put the shooting gallery back in. That'd be a lot of fun. I'd eat and shoot.
That's my lobby. See, you have the lobby. I have the shoot guy. So why would we need another DVC lounge? I don't know, but
Tony says they found out she was from Alaska and they just turned the service on, and she got a grapefruit mocktail. And Karen says she misses the Wave. I don't think I ever got to eat at the Wave. I don't think we.
I miss a couple of the dishes they had at the Wave. They had some good. They did have some good meals. I was glad to see Steakhouse kept the secret menu item from the Wave.
That? Well, tell us what's that.
The pork belly and the egg. It's on the menu at Steakhouse, and that used to be a unspoken item hidden on the Wave menu, but everybody asked for it.
Yeah, we are. It's funny when people ask about what like my sister's going in April, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to check out Shades of Green, which is cool because her husband's a Master Chief. Thanks for your service, so I get to go check that out and hang out with them. But I tried to explain Lightning Lane to him. I was like, maybe I'll just come with you. Like maybe it'd be easier the first day if I just got on the app with you, showed you how to do it, and then set you free. But I'm like, where are we eating? And they're like, well, we'll just, no. We're not going to, we'll just anything. We are going to plan this out. We're going to find some restaurants. Because to us, honestly, resorts and food might be more important than our park days at this point. Like right now, at least.
Like our biggest discussion right now is why the Magic Kingdom has such horrible food.
You make a valid point. Like I will say that the one place that I have been impressed with the last few times I've eaten at the Magic Kingdom, though, Skipper Canteen is a
Yeah.
fun
Yep.
environment,
Yes,
and
it
the
is very
food,
much.
and they do a great job. But there's other sit downs in Magic Kingdom that are
Horrible.
just so disappointing for what they are. Um, and I see we personally feel that way as well about Hollywood Studios. To be totally honest with you,
Yeah, I
that's
can
another one we struggle with food. We wind up at quick service a lot, or we boat over to Beaches and Cream or to the boardwalk and go to
Yep.
Trattoria, because we like both of those options as well. Beaches and Cream is just great because it's the equivalent of quick service, but you get sit down experience. It's not the greatest food, but it's nice just to be able to sit, get
The
in the AC,
atmosphere.
and relax. Yeah, and it's fun. Yeah.
We ate at my kid and I ate at Pecos Bills for dinner. We didn't have a reservation because I typically do a big lunch and then figure out quick service. I saw Tony mentioned it earlier. I love Columbia Harbor House. Um,
Okay.
I think the only complaint I have there is the fries may or greenhorns. Tony Karen said greenhorns, and I thought it was a restaurant. Like, where's greenhorns? But she meant they were greenhorns, as in have not, amateurs. But I think that lobster roll is pretty good. Like, I don't have a problem with that, and I can eat that in a pinch. We ate at Pecos Bills, and again, my kid had some vegan item that she liked, and I ate a burger. I I admit I like bad cheeseburgers. Like, I like a heat lamp wrapped in foil cheeseburger. I know it's I would I choose anywhere else over that? Yeah, absolutely. But for me to go grab a burger that I know is not from Cosmic Rays or whatever, my wife hates Starlight Cafe. She will not. She won't even walk by it, much less go in it. Um, it's well, and we went for like I think it was a Halloween party, and they had some kind of special burger with a black bun, and it really was bad. It was
Oh, the
so
monster
bad.
burger.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was just not good. But it's a crummy cheeseburger that I happen to like. It's the busiest fast food restaurant on the planet. I can cut them some slack. But yeah, I mean, we typically leave to eat at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think you're alone. I mean, that's one of the hidden gems too with Geyser Point, because it's easy to get a reservation over there. You can do a walk-in pretty quick, pretty easy, and it's the quick 5-10 minute boat ride. You got a beautiful place to sit. It's quiet. You can
Right.
calm down, get away from the edge of people everywhere, and then have the opportunity to go right back over to Magic Kingdom and enjoy it. And to that point, the new DVC bar, at the Hawaiian Tower at the Polynesian there, the restaurant down there and the bar is the same way. You walk in, you grab a seat, you just grab a seat at the bar as they come available, and it's great for a quick meal, quick dinner, and it gives you that nice break with a beautiful view. We've gone in to watch the fireworks from there,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we sit and hang out, watch the fireworks, and then we go home,
And
and
we
we
have
don't
a
have to fight crowds.
we have a whole and I stopped doing videos on it because I did like we do it like 4 or 5 times in a row where we'll start at the Polynesian at Captain Cook's and get those meatballs and then go over to Floridian, which my kid says is the best mac and cheese on property. Like, no matter where you go, she says that Gasparilla's is the best, and then finish up at the Contemporary. And we haven't done it in the last 6 months, but they had a flatbread barbecue chicken pizza with this apple. Oh my gosh, it's
It's very good.
unbelievable! It's
So
so
good.
good. And then you're not paying
So,
$200 a meal, to sit down, and you get to ride on the monorail, which
so in February when we were down, you couldn't get into Captain Cook's unless you were a staying at the Poly. They were
really,
checking wristbands at the yep. Because I
They
wanted to go
some
get meatballs.
sometimes they get super strict about it. We've run into that even as locals because we'll go to different resorts and we'll make our reservation and we go in. But we've even had, like, I've grabbed a walk up, time with a return, and we go to walk up, and if we're in our car, they're like, nope, no walk ups if you're driving in, and they've rejected us from going in, and we had to
wow.
scramble and try to grab a last minute reservation, and then
Yep.
figure it out. But yeah, they're this time of year too. Just the crowds are getting steep enough that
Yeah.
it breaks crazy. It's nuts down here right now. So
So if you're at Magic Kingdom and you're saying you take the monorail around to the Polynesian, they won't let you order in Captain Cook's. You can get off, walk
Nope.
around the hotel, but you cannot order quick service.
They'll walk up, they'll scan your band. If it says you're not a poly guest
it
or the tower,
to-
they'll shoot you away.
totally depends on the crowd.
Huh.
Like, but if it's crowded, yeah, they won't let you. There's a couple other restaurants that'll
I
pause
guess
that too.
that's okay because the Polynesian is by far my favorite resort, except for the lobby. And if I'm staying there and I want to grab something for the kids and I can't get food because the line's so long, I I could see where limiting it as an amenity would be okay. That makes sense. I've never had it happen. That would be weird. I don't know how I'd feel about it
Yeah, it
in the
was weird. When I
moment.
walked up, I was like, I just want to get some meat. Walked up, I was like, okay.
Wow.
I was like, can I mobile order? Nope. I was like, all right.
Well,
Have a nice day.
and that's the problem. Again, not a complaint. Just a little thinking about things. I really think they missed the boat by not increasing and putting a huge pool at that new Polynesian tower because that pool is crowded. Like the Polynesian pool, you want to sit down, good luck. I mean, it's tough. It's small. Even the quiet pool gets busy, and they really made a very tiny pool for that tower. And I feel
The
like
Moana area of that pool is really well done, though. The
yeah,
little
really
kids
cool.
stuff for the
But
Moana,
I just think
especially at night.
they needed some space, right? Like we just stayed at Animal Kingdom. That's a gorgeous pool at Jumbo House.
That's a
Yeah.
big pool.
Yeah.
I think to your point, I think one of the, and we discussed this a little bit before, but you know, it seems Disney has overlooked some basic infrastructure needs with all this growth,
Right.
and
Yep.
they have to start addressing it, whether it be transportation, whether it be to your point, pools and relaxation areas at the hotels. You're adding hundreds of guests in small spaces, and people want to go enjoy that pool. That you're right. You're either down there at 8 a.m. getting your seat or you're standing. So
Yeah, and I feel like and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, a lot of places are targeting way upper middle class, right? If not just wealthy. Like I watched a thing real quickly, I won't completely go back through it, but at Vegas, uh there's a lot of YouTube videos. Vegas is dying, attendance is down. And it's true. They have less numbers going there, but the folks that are going have tons more money and they're actually more profitable with less people.
yep.
But, and I've been in the hospitality industry for a long time. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but if you're going to draw those people want amenities, right? And they want a place to go, like you're saying. They want a chair and might want it reserved at their club level. So if you're going to really shoot for the moon and get that kind of clientele, there's not enough geography for it right now.
Well, and with the new CEO changeover right now, I mean, you went from the Bob Chapek school of thought, where that was kind of the direction he was going.
Cut,
We'll make
cut,
more
cut, cut.
money
Yep.
with fewer people, and let's pump up everything and charge more. And Iger brought it back down to a little bit, but still there wasn't. I think the masses still wanted more back
Right.
than what they were getting, and you see the questions all the time, if you could take anything Disney had changed in the last 25 years, what would you change? What would you bring back? What would you do? And there's a lot of basics to that I think, the dark place, as someone called it down the street, does a better job with. If you stay at a luxury resort, one of the top end resorts, you get express.
Yep.
Like those kind of things do matter. I think where Disney had it for a while with your paid admission, you get your 3 fast passes. I don't think they need to go back to maybe that, but at very least, you should get 1 or 2 rides in a
Yeah.
park every
Yep.
day that you're
Absolutely.
able to express. Like go through the lightning lane. You should get that included in your ticket.
At
If
least
you want
once, right? I mean,
at least one,
Or bring back extra magic hour for deluxe guests.
they have
The
well, I
half
think
hour before is horrible.
no deluxe guest.
3 hours after.
Yeah, it's 3 hours after we didn't do it, but I think Epcot. I think it was only 2 hours. I think Epcot was open till 11 the night we were there, instead of 9 for deluxe guest
Yeah, but it
resort
used to
guests.
just be if you were a deluxe guest, you were the only ones there. That was part of the perk.
And I'd like
Yeah.
to see. I would love to go behind the curtain, right? Oh, look, see, you've got fans. Look, Matthew said it's the Hawk. Such a cool name. I'm so jealous. That now Matthew distract me. See, this is how the show changes angles. I'd love to see behind. So we went to Disneyland this summer, and man, Lightning Lane works there. Oh, and I know it's a different park. I get it. It's a locals park. It truly is. I absolutely understand that it can't be the same because of the sheer amount of people. And I think people vacation differently in Orlando. I mean, there's so many differences, but buying that was a no-brainer. It worked so well. It was so simple. And you still got lightning lanes, I almost said fast pass, at like midnight. So the park was open till 12, and 11:32, we got one more before it ended to go jump on something. Yeah, Karen's right. Exactly. Squirrel, and we're gone. So I still think, I have this mix of walking through a lightning lane line, and we don't do it very often anymore. But when you do, you feel a little bit like royalty, and it's awesome. And then sometimes I'm kind of hiding my face because I feel so guilty at all these sweaty parents who are waiting in line. And I'm just passing them by.
But I think giving everybody, the one opportunity, because listen, you got a family of 5, and you got a max lightning lane cost.
Right.
Is Tron worth another 140 or 100? You know what I mean? You're already paying very high prices, very high ticket price. I don't think it'd be a problem for one lightning lane to be in there.
To figure it out.
I think that's acceptable. Disneyland, to your point, I think this week just removed their park hopping restrictions finally. So they were at like 11 o'clock you had to wait to, and I think now they're totally gone. So you can just park hop whenever again at Disneyland too.
Yeah, I agree. I think every family, as much as I don't care if you're staying, in the Motel 6, for what you're paying for those park tickets, I think everybody deserves to feel like royalty at least once.
And even if you do it to on-property guests or
Right.
whatever, put you have to be at a deluxe resort for all I care, but do something that doesn't cost extra money.
Right. And Chris says Tron isn't worth the price, and I agree. I very much love Tron. I love walking in the area. I love that movie as a kid. I think it's a great short ride.
I wish it would have gone through twice.
Yeah, it would have been the right.
Yeah.
Like if you could have done it once on one team and once on the other, and then kind of figure out which one you get it right at the end, that would have been a cool little twist.
Oh, that would have been really cool.
That would have been cool.
It's yeah, it's tough. I like that the chat's talking about moose sausage. Like
I think one of the things that I struggle with is the copycat, the replication, the same. And there's times where I think they should do the same thing in multiple parks, and they never seem to choose the right thing. It just blows my mind. I wish we could, be the fly on the wall, be in those meetings and have those conversations as to this is wildly successful and people want it. Like, why would we not just go with what's safe?
I saw the new Rapunzel area in Tokyo. It is ridiculous. I'm like, why can't we get anything like that out in Florida? We get the basic stuff. But you look,
We had a friend
like Lee was talking about the new Frozen and the stuff they did with Olaf. Well, that'll be 10 years before we see anything like that. I don't understand why.
It is interesting. Even break it down to just the food, right? Like, I mean, Disney has to be saving a ton of money on advertising by letting, content creators go in there and just running even regular folks on Instagram. And you see some of these things from Tokyo Disney Sea, some of the food they do, you don't even want to eat it because it's so beautiful. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just an advertisement for the park, and they don't, why wouldn't you can
we
make
get
it?
rubbery churros. Oh,
Why
great,
not just
thanks.
make it here? Like it is an interesting choice to not mirror. Like if I had three locations of a restaurant and the Oysters Rockefeller sold really well over here, then I'd probably try it at the other two locations to see, how it work out.
Yep.
It just seems like what they choose to copy is not the right decision. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
No, it
Like
Yeah,
does.
100%.
they copy weird stuff that I'm like, wait a minute, like you could have done it different, and that would have been a great. I was glad they brought Tron here. I
Hmm.
was glad they brought
Yeah,
Tron to Magic Kingdom, and I think Tomorrowland desperately needed an addition to of modernization, and we're getting that a little bit now with Buzz being updated and some other things going on. But Tron, they brought it in; it was great, but that's still a cookie cutter ride of another park.
Right.
And you have
Well,
Cars Land, which I think they missed the boat. I think
okay.
Cars Land should
100%.
have.
You read my mind because that was my question. So, our buddy Lou always says he's glad that it's not here, that you have to go to California to see it. And I do like some separation, right? Like this is a dumb thing, and please don't let me get so distracted I forget to ask you about Cars Land because that's exactly where I was going. Like you again, get out of my head. Um, I don't like, and I understand it with I really do. I don't like that my bag doesn't say I don't like the Disney Parks brand, right? I like Walt Disney World and Disneyland. And I want each thing to be kind of separate as a little memento. But I mean, they probably saved $4 million in printing costs alone by just printing bags that say Disney Parks. But would you have voted to have if you were on the board to put a Cars Land here in Orlando?
100%.
Yeah. It might be their best themed area ever, right?
And it would have tied perfectly right out behind Big Thunder Mountain where they're choosing to put Villains Land. Made no
Which
sense.
I still don't get Village Land at all. I don't understand. Hey kids, let's go see Max.
But that's okay.
I'm
And
a,
so
I'm a Darth
I
Vader
get
guy.
that.
I get it.
I get that.
I'm a
right.
Darth Vader guy, but I don't. I
So
don't know.
it is something that does not it's not unappealing. I'm not against it, right? But I'm not excited about it. I'm sure when it gets there, it'll be awesome and I'll love it and I'll go and it'll be cool. And like the villains show, that little show they're doing over there beside
Tower
Rock and Roller
Terror.
Coaster. Um, you know, that's a cool show. Like I was really into it. I love Hook. I love Cruella. She's a great villain. Although, side note, I do think it's funny on 101 Dalmatians that they warn you about that there is tobacco depictions in the movie, but not about the sociopath puppy killer that's going to make a coat out of your dog. There's no warning for that. So, fire right in. But this guy smokes a pipe and we're concerned about. I just thought that was such a weird thing. But so, and I know,
Warning.
right, that there are a lot of people who love these villains. Like there's been a begging for a whole fifth gate of villains. So I know it's not for me, right? And that's okay. It doesn't have
Right.
to be. And I certainly want it to be successful. I'm sure there are folks who don't care about Star Wars. I don't know who they are. I don't know how they've lived this long, but I'm sure they're out there somewhere, right?
In a planet far, far away.
In a planet, right? Yeah, I agree with Andrew Prince says that they're a Muppet area where the villain show is now. I am really, really hoping that they just port Muppet 3D over. It's a good show.
Please.
And here's, I'm curious to what you guys think of this too, because the other thing I think Disney is lacking right now with Disney World is the story, continuity
Yes.
in the park. Because you got Indy and Hollywood Studios. Now you're going to have Indy over in Animal Kingdom. In my opinion, they should be in one park. Like that should be a one area. You know, if you're gonna put the Muppets down there, get rid of the villain show, pull that out, and that should be some kind of Muppet show. To your point, um, you know, the continuity is just starting to struggle. You're losing the story because they're just kind of throwing stuff into places, and it feels as though some of Walt's original vision gets lost. And I understand it's not Walt's park anymore. I
Right.
mean, I get that, and the reality is people need to stop. You know, Walt would roll over in his grave. Walt would be thrilled he's making the money he's making. That man was a businessman. He may not be thrilled with the price. He might have done some things differently. We will never know. But he was a grand, the best storyteller, making you feel immersed. And the continuity and flow of parks is getting scrambled, and I
Yeah.
really hope they strive to bring it back.
That's it's and that's the thing, right? Like God or the devil, however you look at it, is in the details, right? And those transitions from, Main Street, from into Adventureland, around to Fantasyland, going into Tomorrowland, it's magic, dude. Like it truly is transformative, and it's not just because I love it, right? Like I'm a little biased. And even though I am super positive, I'm not a Disney apologist per se, right? So I don't mind talking about when things are not perfect. But but one of my favorite places in all of Disney dumb that I've been to, West Coast, East Coast, is walking into Adventureland because it's like being teleported. And that's really a really cool effect that just took some thought, right? A little bit of music, a little bit of decoration, and they found a way to really do that. And and they're I feel like sometimes it's the little stuff that's getting lost, right? It's the little things that maybe you don't even see. Like I just read, I think I've said this every week on the show since I read it, but I just read 3 Years in Wonderland, which is an awesome book. And in there, he was talking about how Walt got really upset because CV, and I've already forgotten his name, the original general manager of Disneyland, he was more looking at success at the bottom line, right? And what's up, James? My buddy James Sanders pops in. See, I need to not look at the chat. But I know he's not listening. He's scrolling through Facebook and saw that my face, and that's why he stopped, which is fine. We love you too. But Walt didn't care about the money. He wasn't trying to make money today. He was trying to make a park that had zero competition, that there would be nothing else like. And I look, I'm not against Universal. Like I haven't been, but I'm not against it. I think it's cool that it's there, but it's not the same. Like it's apples and oranges. Those two parks from what I've seen, it's just different. Are they both theme parks? Yeah, but it's different, right? Like the people who go to Disney make fun of it for a reason. And the same way that Universal who love thrill rides make fun of Disney. There's something different going on there. But Walt didn't want to make money. That wasn't his metric, right? He wanted to build this thing that would make money 50 years from now, 60 years from now. It'd still be making money. And it's the little bridges and little waterfalls to nowhere and all these little things that just add up to this amazing place that I spend every Tuesday night talking about, for an hour or so. I mean, it's incredible what they created.
I will say one thing that happened down the street was building Epic brought theming to another level yet again that Harry Potter had done with Universal and immersion and immersive theming. Disney did it and answered very well, in my opinion, with Star Wars. I think there's things that they could have done better in Star Wars, and I think there's changes that are coming that I'm glad to see. But Universal showed what real immersion could feel like. If you go into Diagon Alley in Universal Studios, I mean, you literally walk into the Harry Potter movie. There's no questioning it. It's amazing. And what Epic did is brought that to 5 different lands, and the portal concept was very well done because you step away and then you step into. and you are immersed in that. And I
Ah,
think that is what Disney is lacking a little bit. And I think that's what they're fighting to create now. But I think they're playing catch up more than being the pioneer than ever before for Disney standards. Disney was always the pioneer when it came to theme parks. They were always the one that set the bar. They were always the one that created the new technology. Universal is now at a point where they're rivaling that and they're pushing Disney to be better. So the one good thing about the place down the street versus Walt Disney World is the fact that they're forcing each other to
right,
elevate their game and the guests win.
right. That's 100% true. Yeah, you need competition, right? It keeps prices low, like that's the only thing. Otherwise, it
I
would
don't think that works.
Yeah, that ain't working.
well
I
lower
don't think that works out for
lower than they
either of
would
those.
be. I mean, if it was just if Disney was just Orlando and there was nothing else to do, besides International Drive or something, I mean, we'd all be in a lot of trouble. But you're right, it does drive them, and they steal from each other, right? Like they steal people, and Imagineers go back and forth, and the employees, and I think
A
Karen
lot of
has
a
told us
lot
where
of
they
people
train
work
each
at
other.
both.
Yeah,
A lot of people work at both. I know
Yep.
plenty of people that work at both.
We got to think Universal, they're movie people, so they're going to be immersive in everything they do, and they do a very good job because we've been there. At Disney, they're in the magic in the movies. You would think they'd have for a long time it had an edge, and then Universal slowly starting to turn it. But the one thing that Epic didn't have, and people are complaining about it, it's something very very small. Shade. There is
mm,
no shade at Epic.
Well, if you remember, Toy Story Land when they first
Yeah,
opened that got
there was nothing.
ridiculous got ridiculous heat for not
Yes,
having shade, and
right,
but they had to bring in, and you wonder, like I wonder, we've had this conversation too. How does that happen? Because they built Epic after Toy Story Land, and Toy
right.
Story Land had that problem from jump. So you would have thought that was far more thought out, and they would have been prepared for it. Now, there's a ton of trees at Epic that will
Right.
grow higher and provide
Yep,
shade
you gotta
and
have time,
everything
right?
else. But
But the
I'm
current
going to be
situation
with
is that's a
John by the
concrete
time you're
heat
doing
pad. What that is.
well, we have it here, and we have Busch Gardens, which is I think one most beautiful park in America. I don't know how many times, and it's gorgeous. And I did some work there when I had a company, and we worked with some of the engineers there, and Augustus Bush had said, he's like, I don't have the characters like Walt has, so I'll never have that kind of attendance, but I can make my park just as beautiful as his. That was his goal in Busch Gardens. And then you have King's Dominion, which, gosh, I don't even know who owns that anymore. Because they used to have Scooby Doo and those characters. It used to be Paramount, maybe. Anyway,
Paramount owned it for a while.
it is
Yeah,
just a big slab of concrete, and it is so hot, and it's been there for a long time, and those trees have not grown in the way they wanted. I mean,
I just
it's
think of all the
it's different.
technology that both these companies own, they do all these uh, surveys and they question the partner what they need. And in the middle of July, you need water and shade. And
well,
this
I
is
mean,
like, go
go
ahead.
ahead. And
No,
I
I
was
just
just
you need water and shade, and it's always second nature to do. Oh, we didn't know that this was going to be a problem. You're in Orlando, Florida. It averages 100 degrees in the summertime.
Well,
so
and
anything,
Andrew's saying real
anyone
quick, he's saying that that Studios doesn't have shade. That, and he finds that hotter than Animal Kingdom.
there's it's funny that you talk about that though, but it's these Imagineers are so creative and they do so much stuff. But it's amazing how when you get hyper focused on a certain part of your job or your mission, that it's so easy to overlook something else. And it's not even necessarily that maybe it wasn't talked about. It's just not enough people communicated about it
Right.
to prioritize it. I'm sure it was thought of, but then someone said, "Well, we're going to do this." Oh, well, we won't do that then, and this changes, and all of a sudden you're like, we got through this whole process and nobody remembered to bring up the trees, you know,
Yeah.
like, and you start to understand that it's not uncommon for this stuff to happen because we've seen it just in the last 5 years happen 3 different times. So you know, you start to see it pop like that, and you're like, where do they learn? You know, like
Right.
what is the focus? You know, what's it going to take? And I'm sure if enough people talk about it, it will
Right.
start to, you know, get resolved. But I mean, 200 umbrellas in Toy Story Land
Yeah.
wasn't the best way to do it. You know, I mean, they finally redid Woody's to have all the different tarps and block and set up
Right.
to get paid over that. But that was umbrellas for what, 3, 5 years, 5 years?
I mean,
You
they've
know?
you can see it again. The views of me myself may not be representative of this podcast, but it seems to me like you can really look and see when the Imagineers got to do what they wanted and when the accountants got to do what they wanted.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
Hello,
sure,
Epcot.
you know, like I looked into a franchise for Culver's. I like Culver's Butterburger. I think it's a good restaurant. I think it's healthy is not the right word, but I think it's better quality. And so we looked into opening one up here. And you know, when you look at a franchise, there's kind of a formula for how many cars go by at what hours, and there's this metric. It doesn't even say like, oh, is the area safe or good? Is it near? You know, it's really there's a weird formula that probably works 90% of the time, and you know, then there's 10% where it doesn't work. And I feel like you can kind of look around and go, oh, like Communicore Hall. Like I'm
Huh.
sure that checked boxes and there was an idea, but it wasn't, it's under imagineered, right? To me. Like that. And again, I don't have an artist's eye. My kid does, but you know, in art school, thinks the Riviera is under imagineered. It's a it's a beautiful hotel, but is it a Disney hotel? And she's like, look, no, it's a big box with a really nice awning and pretty. The rooms were pretty, a small lobby and a weak theme. You know, oh, Walt and Lillian went to the Riviera. So we'll put some pictures up and there's the story. Whereas even something like the Country Bears Jamboree, you know, the story that the place was abandoned and the Bears took over and then they started a show and that's why there's claw marks on the floor. I mean, these incredible details that, you know, there's a big group of people that go once and maybe never go back. And then there's a group that goes yearly. And then there's folks like us who I find out something new every single time I go there. And that story is so layered and so deep that I keep going back looking for it. You know, I'm always looking for a new book to read or some new fact to find out or find out how something was made, you know, and we brought, again, I feel like I repeat myself, but that Haunted Mansion queue in California is bad. Like it looks like Lowe's. It looks like they went to Lowe's and bought the Halloween decorations and nailed them up and moved on.
I think you bring up a great point about, you know, like when the accountants take over versus the Imagineers. But, you know, you wonder how, you know, how does that get affected? What are they being told? Because they have under promised. When you see the concept art for Disney,
Right.
it looks so incredible. And then when they show you what you actually get, 9 times out of 10, it's like 50% of what that concept art
Yep.
was. And what Disney has to do this time right now, like with the new stuff they're doing, and they have to do it.
It's true.
Epic
And
put out concept art in their world. I mean, you could put the concept art next to the actual
right.
picture, and it's identical.
Yep.
Like Disney needs to do that this time around. Disney has an opportunity to regain the top tier status in Orlando at very least with all these projects going on. They cannot come out halfway
Right.
with, to your point, everybody has clamored for Villains Land and wanted a fifth gate and all this stuff. And already, if you follow the news, it's
It's
it's being
changing.
Right.
already being reworked because
Yep.
they felt like it was going to be underwhelming and not be enough.
Well,
So
and and that's the thing, right? Is that like again, and this isn't really okay. And Andrew's
Your
right.
kid's
So
growing.
so Beacon Barrel is what the rest of everything should look like. Like
Yes.
we just went there for the first time. Will I go to that every time? No, I don't need to go every time, but it was awesome. My kid thought it was awesome. I just walked
Yep.
around and stared. The staff was incredible. The theming was perfect. I mean, it's really well done. I've not been on the cruise to see the Haunted Mansion lounge, but if they can do a lounge, they can do a land, right? Like that. I mean, it can be done.
One of our friends just brought this back for us.
Uh,
He did the inaugural sail, and he actually wound up going back to back. He did 2 cruises on the new adventure.
I think Chris has summed it up here perfectly, and I'm only read these because I do this as audio as well. But whatever you do, do it well. Do it so well that when people see you do it, they want to come back and see you do it again, and they will want to bring others and show them how well you do that. I mean, we know who said that, and it's exactly true. And there's so much. Like I was walking around Epcot as one does, and the difference to me, and I haven't been to Universal, I haven't seen Diagon Alley, so that might be the exception to prove the rule. But Disney feels real, even compared to Disneyland. Like Disneyland feels small in the best way possible. It's not a slam at all, but it feels like a caricature. Whereas Main Street in Orlando, I kind of feel like that's a real town. Like it feels different. Adventureland feels like the Swiss Family Robinson just left that treehouse to go grab food dinner, right? I mean I know it's not. I'm not stupid, but or the
Well, you
queue,
end up into them at Skipper Canteen. You never know.
right? Exactly. They could be over there enjoying a nice meal. The Jungle Cruise queue feels real. Space Mountain still feels modern, even though we know it's not. Um, and that's the thing. Again, I think it goes back. Yes, a lot, and a lot of money, but also those little details, the little extra things that you don't need unless you want to tell a complete story.
I agree.
100%.
Yeah.
And that quote was from Walt Disney. I figured I probably not everybody would know that, but most people, all of us do. Certainly that Chris put on. And that's what he did, right? He did everything well, and you figure out how to do. But I mean, again, I really would love to see. I'm really hopeful for Josh tomorrow. He seems like the kind of guy we want steering the ship, right? He seems like he
I
loves
think
the fans.
yeah. And he did so good in parks management, and he was very popular with crowds and the people. Um, I think he's got a great opportunity. I hope he's not. Even the CEO is controlled, right? Like that,
True.
it's not just what you want. You're still answering to shareholders and stakeholders and other positions. You're having conversations. So I hope he can do what every Disney fan thinks he's able.
Yep.
Yes.
Like
I
you know,
and look, I went back to the summer camp that I went to as a kid, and I joined the board as adult, and I'll never do that again. I am not designed for committee work. Either put me in charge or put me at the bottom. I cannot reside in the middle. Um, like Han Solo, right? No time for the committee. But I do understand that things go on we don't know about, right? And that was the thing. This was a church camp, and the mission, the ministry was so important to so many people. But if it doesn't make money, then there's no summer camp, right? If and they built a conference center with it, and I mean, it was so bad. And frankly, the things that charged the most made the least money. The summer camp was full, and the summer camp was self-sufficient. It really did a good job. And then the depreciation and everything else on the other side was bad. But if we didn't have that thing, then I also knew that the treasurer wasn't going to allow money for the summer camp. And so there may be, and there is plenty of things going on that you're right. Josh can't control. He can't tell the board to go jump in a lake. I'm building this the way I want to build it. No one will ever be Walt again unless someone opens up a new park. I was hoping though that there would be that combination again, right? That Roy Walt,
Yep.
yeah.
Eisner, Oh my gosh, the name's I can't think of his name. Who was Eisner's died in a helicopter crash? Oh my gosh.
We're
Holy
all
moly! I'll have a brain freeze.
Just pause the show while I look this up because it's going to drive me crazy.
So, Andrew, you were saying before we went live, you're excited to see the new Daredevil show.
Yes.
Yes,
Season.
I am. Yes.
While Tater's
what got me up on that was watching the trailer for the new Spider-Man movie. Because at the end, it's got the ninjas from Daredevil, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So yeah, I've got a feeling when Born Again is going to have some type of connection to Spider-Man.
Is it
At
bad
least
that
that's my hope.
I didn't finish the first season?
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's
Frank-
not bad.
Frank Wells. Thank you,
Yeah.
Karen.
Yeah, very
Karen
close.
got it. I wouldn't look at the chat. I knew somebody in the chat would know it. Frank Wells. No, and look, I love Lou, and I will follow him blindly into the breach every time. But I tried, and it just didn't. I didn't finish it. I didn't dislike it, but I feel like maybe something else popped up, and I need to go back and watch it. I have not seen. Andor.
I don't think it was. I like the first version of Daredevil the best.
Okay.
The Born Again was okay. It wasn't as intriguing for me, but I'm hoping that they amped it up a little bit again, and we'll see what they come up with, because there's great potential there. I love the mid-level characters that Disney is really focused to tell the story of through all these Marvel and different shows that they've had over the last few years. It's been a lot of fun to kind of go to different places, whether it's WandaVision or like all the different things they've done. We've enjoyed pretty much all of them.
Did you watch Wonder Man?
We couldn't get into that one.
I loved it.
One.
I really liked that. Yeah. I thought
you were saying you loved it. That's why we started watching it. You had such rave in it. And I got to like episode 5 and was like, I just
don't care. I'm a weirdo, first of all. So maybe don't always take my recommendations. I like pretty strange things. But the thing about it was that my complaint with a lot of these series is I think the dialogue's bad, right? Like I wanted to be a writer when I was younger. And so even though I wasn't good at it, I know what I like. And sometimes the bad dialogue just drags me right out. If it doesn't feel real, if it doesn't flow. I did like WandaVision. And I liked Hawkeye. I did not like Falcon and Winter Soldier because I felt like the dialogue didn't feel great. And look, they made so many shows that any of them are any good is amazing. Like they really did an incredible job. If you think about how prolific they were, they're like the Beatles. I mean, so many really, really good things, but Wonder Man to me, for some reason spoke. And I just thought it was really, really well written. I felt like, and that's why I need to go back and watch Andor as well, because everyone says Andor is incredible.
Andor's awesome.
And I have not watched it.
Yeah, it was well done. I think to your point, that the thing that always astounds me with Marvel is the interconnection of the story having been done so well, being thrown over literally decades of movie making, show making, everything else to tie everything together. It's just so incredibly done. I mean, that's even more than Star Wars did. It's just the interaction and the storytelling and the going back to different timelines, going back to different genres and eras. It was just so well done. I love what they did with Marvel.
Yeah, because Marvel, the Iron Man came out in 2008, so for 17 years
that's
they had
crazy
straight success. That's awesome.
And I felt like
hit that like real weak run where it really, like, it was almost, as a Marvel fan, it was almost heartbreaking that you're like, how can they put out stuff this bad? And there was quite a few movies that we were all amped up and we went to the theater and went on opening night and we're like, what just happened?
What was
What was
this?
that?
Yeah,
What was the last one with Thundercats?
Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolts.
That
I
one
I
That
wasn't
was
bad.
good.
yeah, I
That
thought
was
that
good.
I thought they did a good job. I felt like that had kind of the same kind of Iron Man funny, like the humor was so important in those
Yeah,
movies. They did such a good job with that. And I felt like that was a great story and
But
they did a
like
really good job.
one thing that got me during COVID, like I'll put Solo up there. I think Solo had a great concept
I
and a
do
great
too.
movie, but you put out there COVID and you cut budgets and all this stuff, so it isn't going to be good.
No, I liked it as well. I
yeah,
liked
true.
Solo and Rebel One.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rogue One.
But
Yeah, both of those were good. But just then you got you Black Widow, horrible movie.
I know, and I
And I was just like, okay, we didn't learn from some of these other movies like Hello, Incredible Hulk. You made that twice and it still wasn't good.
right.
well, it is good to see. Someone just commented. It's good to see that Disney's back in the number one spot in the theaters.
Have
You
you
Yeah.
seen
know,
Hoppers yet?
no, I have not.
I haven't either.
It,
My kid was at Pixar last summer. Did I mention that? Did I mention my kid
yeah,
went to
you
Pixar?
can.
I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
Couple times, maybe.
I say it all the time. Um, and they'd already seen it and said it was awesome. And then there's some other stuff coming that might be good too, which I'm
yeah.
excited about. But I get in trouble, and since she's looking for a job, I don't want to do that. But she hasn't told me, but she said there's a movie coming that particularly I'm going to love. Um, and it's amazing to watch from the background to see how much those stories change. Like Tony was saying, how they had wrote a completely different storyline during COVID. That
Yeah,
things move around, or they write it and some executive doesn't like it, and the animators don't get to do what they want to do, just like the engineers don't get to do what they want to do, and you
and
know,
then the accountant
and
comes
then
and
the
everything
accountant,
goes to crap.
and then it's all
Yeah.
gone. I mean, that's the thing. Villains Land is very formulaic, right? Let's do a crazy ride, a dark ride, and then a restaurant.
Right.
Stamp, and then we're going to do something else with the same thing. So, but look, I think Disney did a bunch of boat rides. How many of those do we have? And
Ooh,
I'll still go on Small Ride or Small World and Pirates and Three Caballeros and love every one of them. Um, Frozen or Maelstrom, depending on where you're from. That's just another boat ride with a drop. A bigger drop. I mean, they did a lot of those, and they still seem pretty good. So maybe all this stuff will grow on me. And
you do you ride It's a Small Other World?
it's a small other world.
Yeah, Navi River.
Oh, yes,
Uh,
I do.
yeah.
And I like it. Like my complaint for that one is it's too short. Like I just find it really relaxing and beautiful. And it's not the best ride they've ever done. I won't wait long for it, but
No.
I do like going in there, and it's relaxing and the music's nice. It's an incredible animatronic. I mean, it's cool.
I like that one. I can't do It's a Small World though. I have too much PTSD from that one.
I can understand. And I did get trapped in 1975 on that for 45 minutes. Like we
Oh
were
no.
stuck. Yep. My grandmother, before she passed away, she'd bring it up once a year how we were stuck on that ride forever. Forever. But I just walk around now, dun, 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 out of nowhere. I have a little tick.
Any
Well,
any evacuations for any
what's
of
that?
you? You ever been evacuated off a ride?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you have, Andrew? What'd you get
Big
evacuated?
Buzz Lightyear during the Halloween party.
Oh,
Okay.
We sat there for 20 minutes and I just saw this little spider deal just kind of jumping around. It's a little
Did you
target.
did you get to max out your points?
No. They zeroed him out. I was like, okay.
How
I
about you,
like.
Tater and Steph?
We had a good one on Splash Mountain, where we were way deep into it and came out the back, and I got yelled at for taking pictures backstage. I didn't
My
know.
wife
It was
and
a,
daughter got
So you had to
stuffed
walk
on.
through. Yeah,
Oh,
we we got evacuated off Tiana's right after they opened, and same thing. But one of my friends had a cell phone and was like, put it in the pocket with the lens out, was recording. Someone else had popping these, the but everybody was getting pretty well yelled at. we were all trying to get a snapshot of something. But it was neat. It stunk because we were out there for almost an hour in 95-degree heat, and they had shut down all the water. So we were right next to the waterfall, which at first was really nice, and then they shut it down, and then we just
Oh,
cooked. So we just sat out there, but that was
six
that was interesting.
6 times on Carousel of Progress for Andrew. That's now is the time. Now is the best time to get off that ride.
That was the real nap that day, Andrew.
Yeah, yeah. Ugh. Hawk, tell us where, because it's been an hour, and I never eat dinner before these. I don't know why. I keep saying I'm going to. Tell us where everybody can find you and what you do.
We have a podcast on Tuesday nights that started about 20 minutes ago. 8:30 p.m. Mousecast, Mousekast, and you can find us on YouTube and Mousecast 2025 on Facebook. And we go live as well. This week we had a pre-recorded show because one, I was doing this, and Chuck was down in the great state of Florida enjoying his family Disney World trip. So
Nice.
Cool.
we do that every Tuesday.
Well, I am subscribed now.
I will be here in a minute.
It's cool because I do look for other things, and having gotten into this little group, I keep meeting new people that I'd never heard of. Like, if you haven't heard of our buddy Jeremy Stein, I've got his book right here that he just
Right on the way.
Yep. And so he does Main Street Magic, and we love him to death. And of course, Matthew had married to a Disney addict. I mean, he and his wife are great. Just it's such a neat community. It was something that I was really hoping for. Not that I'm in the inner circle with all the folks that do big stuff. I mean, it's still pretty small time, but I really like Brian. I met him on Matthew's podcast. And I was like, oh, I want to talk more to this guy. Like, I could have talked to you all night that night and just taken over.
Yeah, we had a blast. That was a fun episode.
So even if you can't make it on Tuesday nights, I might pre-record something with you just to have it, because it's fun. And you've got, like, once I knew that you wanted to route the Skyliner through Animal Kingdom, and then I started looking at the map and realizing how good of an idea that was.
Very good idea.
I've got some drawings in place now that we may need to get going. So, but yeah, please check out Mousecast, and you're working on some new stuff too, aren't you? You've got some other things coming up.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold that.
Okay.
Hold that for now. But yeah, we're looking at some stuff. Very excited for what's coming.
Cool.
It won't be just Disney either. It's gonna be
just mostly Disney.
A little, yeah, most of it. I can't take that. That one's taken.
Right. Well, you shouldn't, because now I can't print any T-shirts with the word Disney on it. So all my merch, I've got to rebrand as BMD, and I didn't. I'd already gotten all the websites, and I mean, I own but mostly Disney, except for one dude who still pops up. And he had a podcast for a little while, and if you Google but mostly Disney, he's like the third thing down. A podcast for all things but mostly Disney, and he hasn't put one up in I don't know how long. I just want to erase him. September 24. He hadn't done anything. He did do 64 episodes. That's pretty good, because I think this is 60 for us.
60. Yep.
All right, Andrew.
Wow.
How's Andrew's? If you don't know, has the best name for a YouTube channel, which is Mouse Gears, because he does Disney and car restoration, and I just think it's such a clever name.
Yeah. So I have a video up right now. Put up Monday. Update on the truck I'm storing, and then I got my wife to do a video. Oh, that took a lot. Whether or not we were going to keep our annual pass or not, and the perks with it, the do's, the goods, the bads, the uglies. So I'm editing that now. Hopefully that'll be out tomorrow. But yeah, you have to see if we keep our pass or not at the end of the episode. But she had fun with it. She was nervous, but we started talking and going back and forth, and she really liked it. So hopefully she'll do some more with me.
Very cool.
Yep.
And then I think, I just put out a video from Flower and Garden. And then my next one that I'll hopefully have up Sunday on the YouTube channel is we actually do a full day, not rope dropping at Magic Kingdom, and see how much we get done. And it's a lot. And we saved $40 a piece, which is another complaint I have that I did look at the night before. I'm like, maybe my mom's here. Maybe we won't wait in lines. And you can't buy it the day before. It was gone. Our first fast pass or lightning lane would have been at 6:30 at night. And there's no discount for it.
Crazy about that.
Yeah, you really got to plan it out. But we got everything done that wasn't a roller coaster. How about that? Like, I think we did everything else. No Tron, no Space Mountain, and part of that because it was down a lot, and no Seven Dwarfs. But everything else we did, and we left the park by 9:30, so it was a good day.
Right.
So you can figure out how to do that, and then as always, we're here every Tuesday ish at 7:30 doing this for the peoples. So I really appreciate Karen, Chris, Tony, everybody who shows up. Andrew, thanks for coming, buddy. And Brian Crawford, if he's still here in the chat. It's what makes it fun. I love you guys coming, and without you guys, we wouldn't have a show because we couldn't drive these topics on our own. So please keep coming back, and we'll see you next week. Take care, guys.
Have a good night. See you.